Happy Thursday, everyone. Welcome back. We have a football game tonight. We have the Jets in New England. Not sure how good of a game this will be tonight, but hey, we're gonna watch Drake May in prime time and see how it goes. They have some cool uniforms tonight too, so I do want to check those out. But we're gonna hang out here for about a half an hour or so as we do every Thursday night. I'm going to read the player news first, and then I'll come back to your questions. So if you guys do have start sit questions or any other relevant questions, please get them in the chat. I will come back to them in just a few minutes. We're going to just read the news here. Torrey Horton not practicing for Seattle, back-to-back DNPs. That's going to put him on the doubtful side of things for Sunday. Big game too. Rams Seahawks, man. That's going to be a really good football game in the later window of the day. Bam Knight limited on today. He was limited yesterday. I think he has a chance to play. Cardinals backfield is going to be a little bit messy. I have DeMercado ranked as a running back 3. Like Adonai Mitchell is going to be active tonight. I don't expect him to lead the team in snaps and routes and that kind of stuff. It's literally, he's been there for about 10 days. But I am excited to see him make his debut, see if he can make a play or two and just kind of start building. He's going to get the wide receiver 1 treatment, I think, at some point for the Jets. And especially with Garrett Wilson now officially on IR, he's going to miss the next month. Big night for Adonai Mitchell. We'll see what he looks like tonight. He's worth stashing. Maybe he doesn't make a big play or anything tonight, but he is worth stashing for future weeks, as it's hard to find, teams' number 1 wide receivers for free on the waiver wire. Terrell Jennings is active tonight. He had started the game last weekend over Travion. We'll see what he can do here. I'm interested to see how that split looks. Justin Fields expected to start. I don't know why they're playing around and waiting to name the starter. Like, that's such a silly thing to do. We knew Fields was going to start, but they're going to continue to do that weird stuff. Ricky Pearsall will play officially. Great news from Kyle Shanahan here. And I believe Brock Purdy's been cleared as well. So huge boost for the 49ers, who have one of the softest schedules remaining. I think they're going to be a solid playoff team. Bretton Strange officially limited today. Parker Washington officially limited after not practicing yesterday. So good news there. And then more good news for the Jags. You have Brian Thomas Jr. limited again. So not sure if Strange or Brian Thomas Jr. are going to play in week 11, but I do think Parker Washington will play. We're going to have to probably wait. Like, this is one of the early games on Sunday, so we should get clarity on this an hour and a half before kickoff, but we're watching the Jags' health pretty closely. Oronde Gadsden practicing in full. I expect him to play after his scare. There's the Brock Purdy news. We had a Geno Smith question last night. He's not on the injury report, so good news there. Lane Johnson practicing in full. No Pat Surtain. No J.K. Dobbins today. Tomorrow might be a big day. If they decide to put him on IR, that would be big news. So I think for now I have RJ Harvey ranked in my top 24 running backs. I don't have a strong feeling or take on him. I don't think he's a must-start player necessarily. It's a tough matchup, and Peyton tends to just monkey around with his rotations and things like that. So I do like Harvey. I think he's a solid running back to start this week. Again, it looks like Dobbins is not going to play. What else we got here? Calvin Ridley, back-to-back limiteds. Big one in Baltimore. Rashad Bateman and Justice Hill both not practicing. Lamar does fully practice today after that rest day yesterday. If you need a tight end for this weekend, maybe Isaiah Likely gets a little bit more run out there, more 2 tight end stuff for the Ravens with Bateman. And then, of course, Hill out. There's the Garrett Wilson news. Isaiah Pacheco not practicing today. So I'm expecting Kareem Hunt to get some work. Goal line back and primarily ball carrier. So I think Pacheco probably not playing this weekend. Matthew Golden was limited in practice today, so he's on track to playing on Sunday. This was a big one. Sam Laporta, back-to-back DNPs. They play Sunday Night Football, of course. So I think you need to have, if you have Sam Laporta, I think you need to have a backup plan just in case, because if he doesn't practice tomorrow, he's probably not playing. If he's limited tomorrow, he does have a chance to play. So big day for Laporta tomorrow. No Darius Slayton today either. Back-to-back DNPs. He's on the doubtful side of things, and it just sucks because we were going to get Jameis Winston in there, so we were going to probably like what we were going to get from Slayton and Wandale. But for now, no Slayton back-to-back days. Chris Godwin limited again. We'll see if he goes tomorrow. Bucky Irving limited. Not sure how to read this one though. He may or may not play. I don't have a good feeling on this one. Tomorrow will be a big day. Hopefully they don't rule him out tomorrow and they give him a chance to warm up. Khalil Shakir limited today. Dalton Kincaid misses today. We've been kind of speculating that Kincaid's going to miss probably 1 to 2 games at minimum. CJ Stroud ruled out with that concussion. I have a little bit of a concern there. Back-to-back games with the concussion is a little frustrating. What else do we have here? All right, and then we're into the Wednesday window. So there is your player news for the evening. I'm going to get into some of the questions here, and we're just going to hang out for a little bit, guys. And good evening to Sport Dog. We got the old 18 PPR Superflex League. We're using London and JMO as his receiver, and CMC and Warren as my running backs. We need 2 flex. You got Pickens, Vidal, Mark, Shakir, Shaheed, QJ, and Aaron Jones. Who would you use? I think I'm going with George Pickens here. Dallas coming off a bye. They had the horrible news over the bye week. I think they're going to be playing pretty inspired football. I'm expecting Dallas to blow out the Raiders. I think that's going to be a pretty safe call. I think this game's in Dallas too. I could be mistaken there, but this is a matchup that looks really good for George Pickens. I like Vidal. I like Marks. Those are both safe plays. We do like Khalil Shakir as well. I'm not really interested in Shaheed yet. I think Aaron Jones and Quentin Johnson are fine, but George Pickens has been fantastic all year long. The Raiders are pretty bad against opponent wide receivers. Again, this one, I like the Cowboys matchup in this one. So I'm going to swing for the ceiling here with George Pickens. If I want the floor, I'm probably going to take Kamani Vidal, who's been looking really nice lately the last few games. They have a tough road game in Jacksonville. Jacksonville, somewhat stingy against running backs, but Vidal's been pretty productive. So if you want to take the safe points, I'm going with the running back Vidal. I also don't hate Woody Marks against Tennessee Titans. Not the best defense and probably going to be leading that game. So I'm going to say Pickens is your best opportunity. And good evening, Double Tap. Good evening to Kells. Would you start Travion or Jalen Warren? Seems he's my running back 1. Also, would you start Jalen Warren over Jordan Love in Superflex? My QB1 is Hurts. Oh man, I'm probably gonna stick with the 2 QBs in the Superflex format. I think Travion Henderson. Man, it's tough to sit a guy that just broke off 2 huge touchdown runs last weekend, and now is lined up to get the start against one of the worst football teams in the league. I do expect Travion Henderson to get a good workload tonight. The Jets, middle of the road against the run. They've allowed a lot of receiving work to the running backs. I really do like Jalen Warren. Like, I have Warren ranked higher in my rankings. So the safe call is Warren RB2. You're going to get your 12 to 15 PPR points and call it good. If you want to shoot for the ceiling, though, I think you play Travion Henderson. So what you could do is you could lock in Henderson tonight in your running back 2 spot, and we can kind of kick this decision down the line. And basically, it's Jalen Warren versus Jordan Love later. I don't hate that, but I think I'm going to play Travion Henderson. I think that's what we're going to do. I'm going to play Travion Henderson RB2 and then Warren versus Love. I still think you're going to play Jordan Love. It's a great matchup for Jalen Warren, though. The worst team against the running back position. Oh, maybe we do that. Maybe we play both running backs. I'm leaning towards that being the answer. And good evening. Theo Johnson or Cade Otton? So I had a lot of Cade Otton questions last night. We were looking at a lot of stuff. This is the toughest matchup on paper for Cade Otton. Buffalo Bills here. Let me remove the comment. Buffalo Bills are number 1 against the tight end on the season. Under 6 PPR points per game. They've allowed 1 touchdown, only 23 catches in 9 games. So that's like an average of like 2.5 maybe at best per game to the tight end. So this is a very tough matchup for Cade Otton. This one's also in Buffalo. We'll see if Chris Godwin's back. That might take some steam off of Cade Otton. But I'm kind of leaning Theo Johnson here, and I adjusted my rankings today. I might have Cade Otton like 1 spot higher, just because he's been more consistent. But man, just gun to my head, I think I'm going to go Theo Johnson here. If Darius Slayton is indeed going to be out in this one, you can see I have Theo Johnson, tight end 13, Cade Otton tight end 12. I think I'm going to lean with Theo Johnson here. The Packers against tight end here. 22nd, they're allowing 15 points per game to the tight end spot. I think I go Theo Johnson here. I'm probably not going to go Tyler Lockett in my super flex. I think that would be a frustrating situation, but I do think I think I'm playing Fields here. It's Thursday night, man. If you want to have a good time and live a little, we could play Justin Fields tonight, or we could possibly risk missing out on a good game because there's probably going to be some garbage time in this. Um, I think Fields has that opportunity to get you 20 points probably more frequently than Tez Johnson, who I know just got 20 points. I still think the safe floor of 6 to 8 points. Man, I think I'm going to play Jay Fields tonight. And good evening. Hey, we got a question in here. I believe this is on. I believe you're watching from your phones, which is great. So I did start this other phone live feed here, which I know the formation is not as great on the computer, though it's a lot better format. But if you're watching live on mobile, I appreciate you guys. But the servant says QJ, Tez, or Woody for flex. I really like Quentin Johnston this weekend against Jacksonville. That's not a good defense right now. They rank 25th and opponent wide receiver points per game with about 35. You got a banged up Gadsden right now. Keenan Allen's kind of falling slower and slower, and it's pretty much Lad McConkey in bits of QJ's show. So I think I'm leaning Quentin Johnston here, but Woody Marks, man, getting the Tennessee Titans, who are middle of the road here. I guess they're not. They allow the 28th most fantasy points per game to the running back spot. I think I'm going Woody Marks here. He offers a really safe high floor and a pretty big boom spot as well. Davis Mills is the quarterback, which I think provides some stability still. Man, Woody Marks, I think, is the best combination of floor with a nice ceiling of 20-some fantasy points. I'm gonna go Woody Johnson. If I'm ranking him, I'm gonna go Woody, Quentin, Tez Johnson there. I mean, if you have an IR spot, sure, you can put him in there, but this season's slowly going down the drain here for the New York Jets. There's a good chance that we might not see Garrett Wilson again this season. Just because he's on IR doesn't mean he's coming back after those 4 games. So I would probably only add Garrett Wilson if I had an open IR spot. I don't really want to drop anyone useful to add Garrett Wilson right now. And honestly, they can't really throw the ball all that well right now. So I personally would rather add Adonai Mitchell than roster Garrett Wilson rest of season. That might be a hot take, but I think I'm interested. And I don't know what's this, but so if you're watching on your computer, the format is a lot better. If you're watching on mobile, I think the YouTube Live mobile now, it has me in a little tiny vertical box, and my stats are to the side of me. So it is what it is. If you want to check out the live stream on your computer or maybe go to the YouTube app and open it up, you can get a better look there if that's what the issue is. And I appreciate you. Thank you for hanging out with us on this Thursday evening and getting your question in. I don't really like Tyler Lockett this week, man. I think he's dust, man. Like Geno Smith did target him. If you are just trying to get 8 fantasy points, I think you play Tyler Lockett. He's really not a guy that I'm super excited about. He does get Dallas, so I get it. The matchup is supreme. Like this is where you want to be. You want to be playing the Dallas Cowboys, but the Cowboys are coming off a bye. They're going to be playing with I think some energy in this one after their bad news over the bye week. I think Tyler Lockett just does not do it much for me. So I'm not in on Tyler Lockett, but I could be wrong. Who do I use in my QB? Jackson versus Cleveland or May versus Jets? Jackson was practicing in full today. I'm going to stick with Lamar Jackson. I know Drake May's been very, very good lately. I get nervous about these Thursday night games quite a bit. So in your situation, if the question was Drake May or Baker Mayfield, I'm probably going Drake May. If it was like Drake May or I don't know, Caleb Williams, I'm probably going Drake May. I still have Lamar Jackson as a top 5 quarterback this week. So we're going to stick with Lamar Jackson. And hopefully, basically, as long as Drake May doesn't go over 28 fantasy points, I think you're going to be fine because I do expect Lamar and the Ravens to look good this week. I do not think Isaiah Pacheco plays. He's been back-to-back DNPs. He's had a lot of time to rest over that bye week, and he's still not practicing. I would be shocked if he plays. He'd have to get a limited practice in tomorrow, which even if he does, the data from Wednesday and Thursday suggests that he's probably taking one more week off before practicing next week. And good evening, Mr. Magic. Buy low on AJ Brown. I'll say that I think it's worth inquiring and asking what that owner is feeling. If it's gonna, one of my good friends, Jesse, asked me like, what's the buy-in on AJ Brown right now? And I said I might prefer Alec Pierce over AJ Brown right now, rest of season. We're looking at guys like, I don't know, maybe a Jordan Addison would get it done. Maybe a Jawan Jennings would get it done. Maybe a Parker Washington. So like the cost is pretty low. I think I'm going to take Alec Pierce over AJ Brown rest of season. I know AJ Brown, not having a great year. He's going to probably have some big games the rest of the season, but I think it's willing, the name AJ Brown is going to be very heavy. If it's going to cost me a top 24 player that I feel really good about, I'm probably not going to buy it. But if I can get him low, if I can say flip him for, I don't know, maybe I can flip him for Alec Pierce. Maybe I'm into that. Maybe I can flip him for DJ Moore or again Jordan Addison, something like that. Maybe Troy Franklin, maybe. Loveland or Otten in this one. Again, the matchup here is not great. It might be a little small on the live vertical, but Buffalo Bills rank number 1 against opponent tight ends, under 6 points per game. So there's a good chance Otten goes over that. I'm betting he's going to get more than 6 fantasy points this weekend, but historically here this season, it's not been a great spot to start tight ends against the Bills. Colston Loveland, on the other hand, Minnesota Vikings, kind of a squeaky spot here, 15 points per game against the tight end. I do worry about Cole Kmet playing and being healthy because they kind of like to use multiple tight ends. My rankings are going to have Otten a little bit higher than Colston Loveland. So I get it. If you're nervous about these numbers with Cade Otten, just keep in mind he's been pretty good lately. And Baker Mayfield is kind of a difference maker. Loveland starting to come around, but we've only seen it for a couple of games. I don't have Loveland in my top 15 tight ends, but I have Cade Otten here at 12. So I think I'm going to lean Cade Otten despite the tough matchup on paper, and we'll see if he can prove it. Who's a receiver I can target if I trade Keenan and Tez on the top of your head? Okay. Keenan Allen and Tez Johnson. So Tez is hot. Keenan is not. I think they're both kind of low-end wide receiver 3 flexes right now. If you're going to be able to flip them for one guy, you're probably going to have to. You might be able to go ask about Jameson Williams, see if that guy wants to get out from underneath him. You might be able to go and ask about a Brian Thomas Jr. type if you want to buy low on BTJ. You might be able to go ask. You'd probably get DK Metcalf if you want to buy in on him. You can maybe go for Tet McMillan. I like Zay Flowers. It really depends on which team needs receivers. If they need, they're not going to trade you their top receiver, but if they have a second good receiver, whether maybe it's Stephon Diggs, maybe it's Quentin Johnston, maybe it's Cortland Sutton, try and find someone that's been a little frustrating lately, but still has a nice high weekly ceiling. And I think that could work out for you. So just off the top of my head, I might even prefer Wan'Dale Robinson right now over both of these guys. But not a terrible thing to stick with both these guys. Again, I think having depth is a key factor as the season goes on. Buy low running backs, man. It's hard to buy running backs this time of year. You could try Quinshon Judkins. It's just the stink of the Browns on there. Alvin Kamara did look good last weekend. You can maybe talk about him. You could probably go talk to the RJ Harvey owner, but I don't know. We're going to get a reveal here on RJ Harvey this weekend. So this is probably a buying window opportunity on RJ Harvey. We're probably going to get Travion Henderson prices a lot higher tonight. I think Kenneth Walker is a good buy low. I think Woody Marks is a good buy low, even though he's kind of playing hot right now. other players here. You can go see Amari and Hampton, the Bucky Irving owner. If they need a running back now, like they might be willing to move on from whoever they have and just get some points now. So Hampton and Irving interest me. Bench pieces, maybe Aaron Jones. Like Aaron Jones has looked good the last couple games. I think he's an interesting buy low guy. And then maybe Tajay Spears as just another name there. So I am concerned because I believe this is the third or fourth concussion that he's been at least checked out for. This was his first like true concussion, but he's had a little bit of he's had a lot of hits, man. He's kind of a little reckless running the football still. I do worry about the Giants having to shut this season down at some point. They've already lost Neighbors. They've already lost Jackson Dart here with the concussion. There is a concern there, but when he comes back, man, like he's probably going to be a top 12 running quarterback in my ranking. So I think as long as he's playing, yeah, I want him on my fantasy team. That's for sure. So still fantasy relevant. We just need him to heal up this weekend. I can't quit Brian Thomas Jr., man. I still think he's got big potential every week, and it's hard, man. Now you add Jacoby Myers and Parker Washington's been playing well. Brenton Strange is playing well. Maybe it's a situation where the offense in general gets better and coverages soften up a little bit. I think this ankle injury might also change some of the way he runs his routes and things like that. It could be good or bad, but I still think Brian Thomas Jr., when he's out there, he's going to be a difference maker. He's not the wide receiver one that we paid top end prices for. He might give us a couple wide receiver one weekends the rest of the year, but I still think for fantasy, he's going to be a useful fantasy wide receiver 2-3 type player. And if I'm ranking Jags receivers rest of the season, I think I'm still going to want Brian Thomas Jr. more than the others. But his ceiling and outcome is probably more closely linked to like a Marvin Harrison, maybe not quite a T. Higgins because he's going to catch a lot of touchdowns, but I still think he's in the wide receiver 3 range. So our other QB is Nix. I do have some concerns on Nix, man. He looks really good sometimes, but last time we saw him, it did not look good. And now we're going to get Kansas City this weekend. So I think, you got to play Nix if you don't have any other backup options. But I still think Nix is, if that's your QB one the rest of the season, I think you're going to be okay. Oh, Gainwell, Singletary, or Marquise Brown. So we did get into, I don't know why it wasn't on the injury news feed, but Xavier Worthy, I think he did not practice today. Was he added to the injury report? Let me look this up. So he was limited today. If we get news that Worthy is trending towards not playing, I think I'll play Marquise Brown. Off the top of my head here, though, I'm probably going to play Devin Singletary in this one. Gainwell is still fine because he's going to catch 2-3 passes, but he's behind Jaylen Warren. Singletary is at least splitting 50-50 time with Tyrone Tracy right now. So right now I'm going to say Singletary, but if Xavier Worthy is not practicing tomorrow and it's looking like he's not going to play, then we'll go Marquise Brown. What else we got here? In a redraft start 8 PPR league, 1 QB, 2 running back, 2 receivers, 2 flex, 1 tight end. My QB is Nix Dart. Running backs are Brown, Hendo, Marks, Judkins. A lot of rookies. CD, London, Tez, Keenan, Ridley, Kittle. Should I package upgrade at receiver, running back, or stay put? I'm usually in favor of staying put, but one of the best things you could do is to keep talking to your teammates or your league mates and seeing, is this guy available? Is that guy a player? Do you like this player? For me, you got Hendo, Marks, and Judkins. I want rookie running backs. I want rookie receivers like Tez Johnson as the season goes on. I don't know if Calvin Ridley's going to give you anything down the stretch here, but if you can shop Tez and Keenan and see what, even if you just have to do a 1-for-1 or something like that, but you have a good set of 4 running backs. I don't want to lose those. Running backs are the most valuable position as the season goes on, because when we know a guy is a bell cow back and getting all those touches, they're must start players. Receivers, you got CD and London to hold the fort down. If we can try and find a way to upgrade wide receiver 3, but right now you're probably starting 4 running backs, which I think is fine. I think you can win with that. I'm going to continue to add players on my bench. I don't know if you have any bench spot opportunities down there, but you could go ask about Ricky Pearsall. That's another name that who was confirmed he's going to be playing this weekend. He's a buy low guy. You can maybe see if you can flip Tez Johnson for Ricky, or maybe even Keenan for Ricky, something like that. But I usually tend to stay put, just because when I have a lot of players that I like on my team, it's just one bad weekend and all of a sudden you have an injury to a running back and a receiver, and our depth is being tested. So I try to always talk to other teams and see who's on the block, basically. And basically I like to gauge interest, because a lot of times when I make a trade, it doesn't happen the minute I go and ask about a player. It's going to take a week or two of nudging and talking, and eventually it just kind of works out that way. So an 8 PPR league, man, that's a tough stacked league. I think what I do, I think I chill, man. You have the running backs. We just need to find a way to upgrade at wide receiver. But right now, Tez Johnson and Keenan Allen, Keenan not so much, but Tez Johnson is starting to perk up the right way and be a useful player for Tampa Bay. I know Mike Evans comes back at some point, so maybe if you're going to upgrade a spot, I think you're in the correct thinking with Tez and Keenan as the 2 guys that you could try and package for an upgrade. But anyways, what do we got here? I do have all the rankings and the start-sit charts available for members on the fantasyfellowship.com. Overall tonight, we don't really get a lot of primetime New England Patriots games, so enjoy that. Hopefully it's the TreVeyon Henderson show. If everyone's starting TreVeyon Henderson this week, I hope you guys get your touchdown. I hope you get your 100 yards all purpose, and we can enjoy a nice big TreVeyon Henderson breakout party. Justin Fields, we'll see what he can do. The Patriots are a really well put together team. They play disciplined ball. They're still young, but they're well coached. That's for sure. It's probably going to be a struggle game for the Jets tonight. But who knows? Breece Hall and Justin Fields, man, they can make a lot of big plays. Not super excited about this Commanders-Dolphins game. Start your Dolphins, though, Achane and Waddle. Commanders, though, not necessarily must-start players at this time. Panthers-Falcons, and NFC South battle here. I'm not sure what to think about this. But yeah, you're starting Rico, you're starting Bijan, London. That's pretty much the only locks. I think you can think about McMillan, Pitts, maybe even Algier. He might be worth it. I just picked up Jaden Reed to stash. I flip him with Keenan and Tez. That's really good news to hear, because I think Jaden Reed, when he comes back, man, he might step right back into a really nice fantasy role for this Packers offense, because they need something, and he's that one something that can provide a little bit with Tucker Kraft being gone, just his short area quickness and his run after the catch ability. So I wouldn't be looking to push Jaden Reed. I think you're in the right mold here. Keenan Allen's getting slow. He's slowing down. He's still a good player, but he's been losing trust for us the last couple of weeks. So Keenan and Tez, especially with Mike Evans coming back, I think those are the 2 guys. Even if you could just sell one of them and hold on to the other one, I think that's fine. But if you can package both, you're going to get Jaden Reed back at some point here. They have not opened up Reed's 21-day practice window. It sounds like it could happen next week. It sounds like it's maybe he's not playing until after Thanksgiving, but I do think we're going to see Jaden Reed out there playing soon. I did see a tweet today that he was working off to the side, working up a sweat. He looks like he's healthy and ready to start getting some limited practices in. So go pick up Jaden Reed. He's under 40% rostered in ESPN leagues. But that's going to do it for tonight, guys. We do have a football game on tonight. You guys can check out the fantasyfellowship.com membership starting at just $8 a month, or you guys can do the 2-week trial for $5. But I'm going to get out of here. Enjoy the game tonight, guys. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me on a Thursday evening. We'll see you guys Sunday morning, 10:30 a.m. Central Time. We'll hang out live and get you guys all the info you need and check in on that Madrid game. So thank you. Enjoy the game. Go Patriots. We'll see you guys soon. Peace.